Hello guys, if you are still in Season 2 and haven't tried this build yet, you definitely should try out the Ball Lightning Sorc. This is the chance for you to enjoy a sorcery build which destroys everything in the game with no mercy at all. Let's see how this build is performing against the hardest boss in the game, Echo of Varshan, in a few seconds leaving all the loot on the ground. The same story for Grigoire boss, in just a few seconds to get all the loot. Also check out these kills for the Tier 100 NM dungeon bosses. Mother's Judgment boss got instantly killed. You pull out your lightning bolts to spin around the boss. The Scourge of the Land boss didn't stand a chance either. Another Blood Bishop boss, same story, easy. Uber Lilith phase 1. I didn't preload the boss, so she entered the edge phase. Wait until she comes back down and she will be instantly killed without triggering any mechanic. This is phase 2. She's basically killed from the very beginning. No mechanic is triggered. You move around different platforms for the rest of the fight. If you haven't killed Uber Lilith yet, this build is your chance to shine. For Tier 100 Nightmare dungeons, you simply teleport with your boss, lightning bolts, to move from packs to packs very fast. You will stun lock the mobs and kill them instantly. For elites, it took maybe 2 teleport back and forth and they will be dead. If you are still not convinced, let me show you all you need to set up this build. If you want to see more content like this, please smash the like button, subscribe and ring that notification bell to never miss a video. To be able to spawn the lightning bolts fast like this, you need to solve 2 problems: the attack speed and the mana issue. For attack speed, you can use the accelerating aspect or the ancient flame aspect in conjunction with the Ashes ferocity key passive, or both. For solving mana issues, we're using the recharging aspect on one of the rings, together with the Chain Lightning Enchantment, which will form Chain Lightning automatically after spending 100 mana, which is about after casting 2 to 3 lightning bolts. When Chain Lightning bounces, you get your mana back. We also use Tibault's Will Unique Pant to restore 50 mana when you become unstoppable. This is only after later in the game. I will explain what I did to make this build work in detail. For skills, 2 point into Firebolt. Actually, you can use this as one of the enchantment later in the game, so leave it here for now. When you are leveling this character, you can actually put a point into Spark, Enhanced Spark, and also Glinting Spark to start leveling, and then 1 point into Devastation to be able to get 3 points into Elemental Dominance to boost your skill, and then 1 point into Chain Lightning, Enhanced Chain Lightning, and the Destructive Chain Lightning, so this will give you a chance to leave crackling energy on the ground. Later on, when you get this point, whenever you pick up crackling energy, you will gain your mana back. This is another source of getting mana. And also when you are leveling this character, you can put 5 points into Chain Lightning to use this to level your character up to level 50. Next, the defensive skills, we have Flame Shield, Teleport, and Ice Armor. You can start putting only 1 point into each of these skills, which can get you started very solid. But later on, if you want to survive in Nightmare Dungeon Tier 100, you are going to put more point into this. So Flame Shield, more point will increase your duration of immune. For example, 12 point here. I also get contribution from the items later. You can get up to 3.1 seconds on immune, so this is really huge. More point into Teleport can give you less cooldown on Teleport. Teleport will become the main skill to carry you around in Nightmare Dungeons, to move around between mob packs really fast and stun lock the mobs later on in the game. And also Ice Armor, more point here will give you more barrier. For this build, whenever your barrier is on, it is very hard to get you killed. And also later on, you can see I put 2 points into Ice Veil, so this will increase the duration of your barrier. For example, you have 6 seconds in Ice Armor. Together with this, you will get 6.6 seconds of barrier to keep you alive. And for Flame Shield, we use Enhanced Flame Shield and also Shimmering Flame Shield to get some of your HP back. And for Teleport, we use Enhanced Teleport and Shimmering Teleport to get 30% damage reduction for 3 seconds. This is really huge for survivability. And also in this area, 3 point into Elemental Attunement to be able to reset the cooldown of one of your defensive skills whenever you get a lucky hit and together with critical strike. This will give you more survivability, and also 3 point into Glass Cannon to to increase your damage multiplier. In the conjuration skill area, we use 1 point into align the element to be able to get 3 points into mana shield to get more damage reduction after you spend mana, and also 3 points into protection to get more barrier whenever you use a cooldown skill. Like we said, whenever your barrier is on, it basically keeps you alive in Nightmare Dungeon tier 100. 1 point into Ice Blade is really for the recently updated unique rain for Sorcerer. This is really be able to do all the fire, cold, and lightning damage to increase your damage multiplier because of that new ring. I will mention this later. Then 2 points into Ice Veil, maximize your Ball Lightning, so this is your main damage output later in the game. Enhance the Ball Lightning and also Wizard Ball Lightning to get more cracking energy on the ground. 1 point into Static Discharge and 3 points into Invigorating Conduit, so this will give you mana back whenever you're picking up the cracking energy on the ground. Then we have 1 point in Unstable Current and the Prime Unstable Current to increase your attack speed while Unstable Current is active. Unstable Current will give you a chance to fire a lot of other lightning skills including Ball Lightning, Lightning Spear, etc. And then 1 point in the Coursing Current to be able to get 3 points into Electrocution. This will let enemies to deal less damage whenever you critical strike them, and your critical strike chance will be really high, so this will happen all the time. For key passive, one option is to use Ashes Ferocity. Even though the tooltip says it works with fire damage, however, a bug was reported by some of the streamers saying that this also works with lightning damage, which is great. And also in conjunction with the aspect that we mentioned earlier, this gonna increase your attack speed for Ball Lightning as well. And another option, which is use Virus Mastery. So there's also a bug saying that the attack part of this key passive is not working. However, the defensive part of this part is working. So this basically gives you 20% less damage from the enemies, which is really okay if you want to survive later on in the higher tier Nightmare dungeons. Here is how you play the build. Close to encountering the mobs, you cast a Flame Shield to make yourself immune, then cast as many as lightning bolts as you can. Use Teleport to engage the mob packs, which will stun and instantly kill them most of the time. As soon as your Flame Shield wears out, cast Ice Armor. As long as you have barrier, you won't die. Now you can alternate between casting Ball Lightning and teleporting to kill anything in your way. When the Ice Armor wears out, look for whether the Flame Shield is ready. If it is ready, just repeat. If not, you can use another cooldown skill such as Ice Blade or Unstable Current. This will give you a barrier for 3 seconds to keep you alive until the Flame Shield or Ice Armor is available. Also save Unstable Current for the boss fight. It will give you a damage adrenaline. For helmet, we have aspect of Disobedience to give you a lot of armor while you are attacking. Currently we're close to 9k armor, which gives us 81% damage reduction for physical damage, which is close to the gap 85%. For the stat, you are looking for either all stats here or intelligent, total armor, maximum life, and also cooldown. Someone will say God Slayer is a best in slot here, so this helmet is really good for damage. But when you put this on, our armor reduced to 7k, which gives us only less than 60% physical damage reduction, and you will definitely die in the Nightmare tier 100 dungeon. But if you are just leveling or want to experience the high damage output from this build, definitely you can use God Slayer helmet, but I highly recommend it to use a regular helmet to give you a lot of additional armor. For the chest, Raymond is the best in slot in my opinion. All the stats here, intelligent, damage to close enemies, damage to stun enemies, and also rank to Glass Cannon is all useful for damage output. Especially the unique stat here. After using teleport, enemies close will be put to you and be stunned, so this will enable you to fly through the Nightmare dungeon even tier 100 later in the game. We use gravitational aspect on the gloves. This is the build enabler aspect you should use, and this is not easy to find, but once you got it, you can switch to Ball Lightning for leveling your build, which is pretty great. For the stats, look for all stat or intelligent, attack speed, critical strike chance, and also lucky hit chance to restore your primary resource. Tibault's Will Unique Pants is the best in slot in my opinion. It not only gives you a lot of damage output, but also gives you 50 mana back whenever you become unstoppable. So this helps your mana issue in a great way. Before you can get access to this unique pants, you can use a regular pants like this. Looking for total armor, 2 damage reduction stats, and also 1+ rank for ball lightning. You can also use a aspect to take less damage from crowd control or vulnerable enemies. This will works well and make you a lot tanky, but this will not help the mana like the Tibault Will Pants will do. But this is really good before you can get the unique pants. For boots, look for attacks, reduce evade cooldown. This will give you a lot more evade in the nightmare dungeons, which will allow you to use a lot of teleports because of the enchantment that we use. And then look for movement speed, one of the resistances that I'm not maximized yet, and also plus ranks for flame shield and also plus rank for teleport. This will give you a lot of defensiveness in the nightmare dungeons. You can also look for reduce mana cost, which is another great option, but that is for offensive. For me, we are not lack of damage output at all, but you're looking for more stat to make you more tanky. In case you are looking for a way to increase your damage, Asus Heirloom is another great option for the boots. This will give you a lot of critical strike chance, which is based on the increase of the movement speed that you have. This boot gives you a lot of movement speed by itself. It also gives you critical strike damage and also mana cost. So great option, but it will be not that tanky. You can actually use this boot for example, Uber Lilith fight. On the one hand, look for Dagger with the stats, intelligent, master skill damage, and also damage to close enemies. This is the best combination in my opinion. And on this one, we're using conceited aspect, which gives you constant increased damage while you have barrier, which is on all the time. In the offhand, we're using ancient flame aspect, which is to give you more attack speed whenever you're using actual ferocity passive. Look for intelligent or stat or critical strike chance, resource generation, cooldown, or mana cost reduction. For the amulet, we're using storm swell aspect to further increase the damage to vulnerable enemies while you have barrier, which is always on. And the most critical stats are total armor, cooldown, and also plus rank to all mastery skills. I'm having plus rank to all defensive skills here as well to be more tanky, and also I'm not maximized on my mastery skill stats at all, so this is not optimized. Instead of all defensive skills, you can look for movement speed as well. That is up to you. On the first run, we're using recharging aspect to let chain lightning bounces and get your mana back. This is really great. Once you get this aspect, you solved maybe 80% of your mana issue. For the stats, looking for critical strike chance, lightning damage, or any other additive damage here, and also damage to close enemies. And the last one is the resource generation. For the second run, you can look for a run with exactly the same stats as here, and put, for example, accelerating aspect on to increase your attack speed. However, for the recent update, we get this Tell Russia's unique run, which is the best in slot in my opinion. So for the unique stat there, for each type of elemental damage you are dealing, you gain a multiplier per element damage you are dealing. So this is a really great boost, really great way to boost your damage. And this ring can be farmed from Varshan and also the Nightmare Dungeon. Enchantment number 1, we're using Chain Lightning Enchantment. This will give you Chain Lightning automatically after spending 100 mana. This is usually after 2 to 3 casting of the Ball Lightning. So this happens a lot, and whenever this happens, it will bounce through the enemies and give you mana back, which is a must-have enchantment in my opinion. I'm using Teleport as my second enchantment. This enchantment will replace your evade into a teleport. So together with this enchantment and also the original teleport, you have a lot of teleport while you are in the Nightmare dungeons. And in my opinion, this is the best option for dungeons, because you can use this to stun the enemies all the time use the Raymond chest, and also this will give you a lot of the damage reduction after using teleporting. Super great. For fighting bosses, actually you can replace this teleport enchantment with another type of enchantment. For example, Fireball enchantment to automatically deal with another type of fire damage. Or you can use Ice Blade enchantment to automatically deal cold type element damage. So all of these additional type of damage will give you more damage multiplier because of the new unique ring, Terra Russia. For the gems, we use ruby gems on all of the armor pieces to increase your maximum life, and then emerald on your weapon and also offhand to increase the critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies. And then on the amulet and the rings, I'm using the skull to increase the armor. 250 armor per piece is really great way to boost your armor. For Vampiric Powers, we're using Prey on the Weak to get a damage multiplier to the vulnerable enemies, and then Ravenous to get a lot of attack speed, which is very useful. And then Infection is really for the new unique ring, Terra Russia. So for somehow, Terra Russia ring says for each element damage type, you get a damage multiplier. However, this poison damage also counted as one of the damage types. So getting this will give you more damage multiplier by using the Terra Russia ring. And also a Cursed Touch to apply Vampiric Curse, and also boost your damage by using the Stored Souls to attack. And lastly, I'm using Undying to basically get your HP back whenever you cast the skills. Some of the people may use, for example, another one, where is that? Basically this Sungjin Breeze to get fortified. However, later on, I think when you get enough HP, Undying gives more benefit. That is what I feel. But earlier on in the game, you can use this to get it fortified and get a lot of less damage taken, which is great. I won't go over all the details of the Paragon boards, but I will leave a link in the description for you to read the details. From the starting boards, you get a lot of the damage nodes, resistant to all elements and damage nodes by putting Elementalist glyph here to boost the power of all these loads. And then this Paragon board overall is very linear, and then go up to get the Enchantment Master to grab a lot of the damage nodes, as you can see, and also resistant to all elements, and put the Reinforced glyph here to boost the power of all the rare nodes. And then you go to Ceaseless Conduit and put a Territorial glyph here to get a lot of damage to close enemies, and definitely grab some of the Intelligent node and also the Dexterity nodes here. And go up to use Elemental Summoner and put Charged glyph here to get, so here is really to get the damage multiplier by the additional stats. Whenever picking up Crackling Energy, you get the damage multiplier up to 15%. Crackling energy damage is not critical here. And then you move in right to use the Burning Instinct, and then put Destruction node here to get a lot of critical strike damage. And also damage reduction from Elite and some of the armor nodes here. I think these are the only armor nodes you can get on the entire Paragon boards. And then in the second but the last one, you get the Frigid Fate, which is a great bonus multiplier to our build. And then put Adept glyph here to get a lot of master skill damage to boost our damage output. And last, we go to the left to grab the Static Surge legendary nodes. So this will basically get enemies automatically be vulnerable whenever cast the Chain Lightning. And because of the Chain Lightning enchantment, this basically happens automatically. You don't have to do anything. So this is really nice for getting enemies vulnerable. And then you put the control node here to get a lot of damage to crowd control enemies. And definitely go here to grab more damage to elites and also damage to stunned enemies. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.